Welcome to Stories and Songs by Afterglow Music. My name is Joel McCausland.
And I'm Kevin Peay, and we've been creating music for a long time.
We'd like to tell you the stories behind our songs. Kev, we've reminisced and had a good time with the experiences we had in Nashville recording country songs. And we wrote a few.
That was so fun.
It was really fun. We had some great memories from that. And, we tried our hand at writing. We wrote some songs that ended up on the albums. But for the most part, we relied on writers that we knew, both local and people who were working in Nashville, and some that we'd never met before, but just happened to be great human beings, talented musicians, and they did some great things for us. And there was one song we ran across early on that we really loved. It was called The Old Home Place. And we just loved the message of this song, written by Cindy Green and Billy Henderson, I think is his name. And we felt like this one maybe deserved its own moment in the sun, its own episode. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the experience here and the message of this song.
The only thing left standing to mark the spot is one old crumbling chimney made of earth and rock. But it kept the home fire burning back in Grandpa's day. And it warms my heart just thinking about the old home place.
Everybody has a genealogy moment, I think, in their life in regards to thinking about ancestors and thinking about places they've been. And the spirit of Elijah has really come forward through the restoration of the gospel of Jesus Christ in the latter day. And Elijah prompts us along the way. That spirit, the Holy Ghost, helps us to remember. I mean, I've always loved Coco, the movie Coco, in regards to keeping the memories alive so that that the people don't die. Well, in our world, we don't believe that they die. They're always going to live forever. But the principle was interesting in thinking of remembering. And so it wasn't long ago. There's a number of different things that happen in my life to think about this all the time. This is why I love this song so much. I mean, I think back to Pleasant Grove. I think back to my grandma's house. I think back to all the wonderful memories I had in my childhood. And then we have tried to keep those memories alive by doing the best we can to go to places. And American Fork Canyon, of all places, is one of those.
Right, yeah.
Is one of those. And so we like to hunt American Fork Canyon. We like to go up American Fork Canyon. And I grew up in American Fork Canyon. My dad took me on horse rides when I was just a wee little 3-4-year-old and freezing in moonlight, riding on this horse, headed up this canyon to go hunting. And those were the memories that are ingrained in my life specifically. And it hasn't been long ago that we've gone back up those canyons. And grateful that my uncles and my cousins have kept those memories alive, and they have actually recorded some of those memories. And one of my great uncles, actually his voice is still on the audio now, telling about the story of American Fork Canyon. And so it wasn't long ago, we took a nice little ride up to Dutchman's Mine and different places up American Fork Canyon, where my father used to tell me stories about his old home place in Pleasant Grove, and then his responsibilities as a 14-year-old driving a dump truck down from Dutchman Mine.
Down the canyon.
And losing his brakes, and the angels being with him, and he survived it. But all of the stories that come from Mary's Gulch and Dutchman Mine, it's fun to go. Now, of course, it's changed, but those are the places that you go back and revisit. And I think most everybody has some places that they go back and revisit. It's been interesting in my life because we closed a chapter of my parents. Both of them, of course, have passed on. But a few years ago, we were their homestead, 1966 home. It was time for us to do something different. So the old home place was where I grew up since I was 4 years old. And it still exists in brick and mortar. And the memories are still there, although it has moved on in passing to someone else.
That's an odd feeling too, isn't it?
It is an odd feeling.
Yeah.
It is an odd feeling. And we're hoping to get these podcasts up into Family Search, and we're working through that process. I was playing around with Family Search the other day, trying to understand how to even load an audio file to where it can be forever treasured. And I started seeing a lot of my different family members, my ancestors who have passed on, and started to recognize that those stories are there because somebody has made the effort to be able to load those up. I've even had an experience where we have a book that's 800 pages because somebody took time to actually assemble that book of historical documents of my ancestors. Mm-hmm. And it's been fun to be able to see where those are stored, how they can have access to them. And Family Search is going to be wonderful to hold those treasures near and dear. But the old home place and where Grandma lived and where Grandpa lived and all the smells and the chicken noodle soup and the tomato soup and the grilled cheese sandwiches and all of those things just remind me of the great old days of how we grew up, how I grew up personally, and those forever treasured moments.
That's funny you'd say that. There's been a couple of things just in the last couple of days that have kind of hit me that way. We were actually catching up on an episode of Survivor on TV. And they had this moment where these people are out there for a while. It's kind of emotional and dramatic and all that. And they gave them a reward where they all got to have some food, some really nice, well-prepared food, which is kind of rare. And one of the girls got this bowl of mac and cheese, and she starts crying. And she says, "That smells like home." And I thought, just like you were saying, the memories that stay with us, the things that we hearken back to just immediately when we see them or hear them. We were up in Smithfield yesterday with Diana and I and one of our granddaughters. We're out doing a little birthday celebration together. And, you know, we're in Smithfield, and that's where Diana grew up until she was 12. And we needed to drive by her house. And then there were memories. And there were memories at the ball field where Dad used to play with the Blue Sox up there. And, you know, it's that kind of a thing. And I thought about that in my own life. Every time I go to Pleasant Grove, I turn to Diana and say, "We used to live there. We used to live there." And then we stop at the place where I really grew up, the house where my mom still lives today. And I just think these things stick with us in ways that we don't always anticipate and sometimes don't remember. Like, it takes something to bring me back to that. But gosh, the memories and the formative experiences and the people, mostly the people who had powerful influences on me in my life, so many of them are tied to that old home place for me. You know, it's a youth leader, a guy who took his weekends and took us on campouts and hikes. It was certainly my mom and her steady influence throughout my whole life. But gosh, even the concert we did for Strawberry Days in Pleasant Grove a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
It was just a return to what the old home place has meant to me throughout my life.
We're closing another chapter just recently, this last week, actually, and this is Cindy's parents' house. And it's been fun to be able to witness the passing of that piece of history down to one of our daughters. And then they have now passed that on to someone else outside the family. But the treasured memories that are involved in that whole thing, I think back as they have redone the house and things have changed inside. The bones are still the same, and there's a new roof, and on it goes. But the little things that are treasures within inside the progression of when her parents passed, and then that progression to Megan and her husband, and then all the finding the little knickknacks that were treasures within inside the house, the stashed cash, the...
Oh, I wish I could buy a house with stashed cash.
Yeah. And so it's fun to be able to have those memories, especially when you begin to go through the things that you need to discard and position to Deseret Industries, but yet those things that are sacred to keep. If you go down to my office even right now, there are treasures and volumes in the bedroom downstairs after 2 years. I still have not taken the time. I know that the treasures are there and I still have time to go through that, but there are many treasures that will always be passed on. The flag of Daddy when it was presented as a military
from his service,
in his service, his funeral. Yep. the treasures of statues that were given to him or to Mom, or the yard rows that they collected. Is that a word?
Yadro?
Yard
Yeah,
row.
like the little figurines.
Yeah, little
Yadro.
figurines.
Yeah.
And all of the porcelain things, the china specifically that we have saved that really were very important to Mom. Those things you just don't give away. Those are part of the old home place. They live on. They breathe. They are passed from generation to generation. So the wonderful memories that are made, the wonderful little treasures that we find, the personal things that we hang on to, and then the stories that are archived are so important as we point not only to the past, but to the present, and then they help build our future.
That's good thoughts, Gav. The writers of this song, I don't know their faith, and maybe they don't know much about, maybe they do, about the spirit of Elijah, but we are certainly seeing hearts turning. And especially in the world today, we've experienced it in our own family when hearts turn away sometimes. And to have that influence and that power that says, hang on, focus on the things you can cherish, focus on the things that are important, and hopefully we can be knit together by the Spirit. We can turn to one another and turn to our Heavenly Father. And that's, it's His family. It's His whole family. And the more we can do to sort of bring those connections and relationships together, the better off we'll all be.
I think everybody has an old home place, so maybe this song will help people reflect and continue to build forward, but to remember those things that are most important in their lives.
The only thing left standing to mark the spot is one old crumbling chimney made of earth and rock. But it kept the home fire burning back in Grandpa's day, and it warms my heart just thinking about the old home place. Grandma used to draw from an old open well, water pure and simple, like the stories she would tell. And under that old oak tree, friends and neighbors shared the shade, 'cause no one was a stranger at the old home place. At the old home place, the ones I loved are gone. But at the old home place, their spirit still lives on. And here where I was born, I still feel their embrace. And I'm reborn in the arms of the old home place. The fields my grandpa plowed have turned to dust in time, waist high in weeds and growing up in pines. But the love that filled my childhood, the years cannot erase. And strength is what I harvest at the old home place. At the old home place, the ones I loved are gone. But at the old home place, their spirit still lives on. And here where I was born, I still feel their embrace. And I'm reborn in the arms of the old home place. At the old home place, the ones I loved are gone. But at the old home place, The Spirit still lives on, and here where I was born, I still feel their embrace. And I'm reborn in the arms of the old home place.